Hello, welcome to the session on completing the data transformation. So again, we go back to the transform data. If you are not there, you might need to click on that transform data button on the home menu in the Power BI desktop. And let's start with the sales data. So for the sales data, transaction ID looks okay, date looks okay. I don't see any issue with the branch, with the pizza name, the unit price, the quantity. So these are things you want to be looking at essentially, is this in the right data type? So I'm okay with sales discount. Time is not in the, it's showing as date and time. So I'm going to change this to ordinary time. Okay, so that looks good for the sales data. I go to the branch data and looking at these, they all look okay. I go to the sales target, and so in this sales target, I'm going to need to combine the years and the dates. As we go into the analysis, you will see why it's going to be very useful for me. So that is a good opportunity for me to show you how to merge two columns in Power Query. So it's very easy. I'm going to pick the two columns. So I click on the first one, I hold the shift key and click on the second one. And then right there under transform, in case you are in home, make sure you go to transform. You'll see merge columns. So I pick merge columns and this comes up. Now it's asking me what will be the separator. I'm going to pick space. Yes. And as for name of the new column, I'm going to call it year underscore month. Okay. And that is what I want. So that is done. And I go to other fields. So branch looks okay. Now there is an issue with the target being outlined this way. So I'm seeing the products on separate columns. The problem is because these are headers, this barbecue chicken, barbecue fillet stick, all these are headers. I lose flexibility when I want to do my analysis. So I can't be able to easily say I want to be able to dynamically pick the pizza type, and then you should look for the target for it. So it will make better sense if all of these different pizza types, if I have them all collapsed in one column, and then all these figures right here are all collapsed in a separate column, right? So and that's what we're going to do, is column pivots. So I select all of these. So I select the first one, I scroll to the end, I pick the last product, and then again under transform, you're going to see on pivot columns. So I pick that, and you see it's done what I've said. Now I have all the pizza types in one column, and then I have the values, the sales target in a separate column. So that's what I want. As for one more step, I'm going to rename this. So this is pizza, and you see the way I'm renaming is just to double click inside, and I'll call this as the target. Okay, so that looks good for this. And I go to the exchange rate. I have a similar situation here. So since you already know the step, is just to pick the two columns and say merge columns, and then I say it should be separated by a space, and the merged column should be called year underscore month. Okay, and voila. So with this, I am almost done with the transformation, but in the Power Query side of it, I'm okay with the way things are. So I'm going to do close and apply. So under home, you will do close and apply. Then just to point your attention to, there are other things we can do in Power Query, right? We can remove columns. If you have situations where you want to remove columns that are, maybe I say remove columns. Yeah, this is remove columns. We did that anyway. So maybe there were some additional columns that came in and you remove them. There is also keep rows and remove rows. If I want to remove maybe the first 5 rows like we had here, if you remember when we did it, so you will see there is a section called apply steps. So everything we are doing, right, Power Query is keeping track of them as steps, and you can go between steps. So if I click on on say this one, I see what the data was like in the beginning. So in this case, I could have said I want to remove how many rows. Maybe I want to remove 1 row. I want to remove 5 rows. So this can be a bit faster if the main header you need is really far down in the table, you know. So you want to like promote what is on like row 6. You want to promote it straight up to header, right? So you might need to do remove 5 rows and then use the first row as header to quickly move it one step up. So that's that. And then we've already used row first row as header, so you're a bit familiar with that. Okay. And in case where maybe you've overdone it, or maybe the data for any reason anyway, that you need to reverse it, and it's a case where that's the way your data came. So because if you want to reverse, it's faster to just come here and cancel that step. But in case you have it in a situation where you just want to not promote the header, or for some weird reasons I can't really come up with a practical situation, you can also say use headers as first row. And with append queries allows you to merge. So let me try and demonstrate one for you. You see, we have this sales target and I have branch data. In this branch data, there are branch managers. In this sales target, I do not have branch managers. So what if I want to combine, you know, the two, so that I'm going to have a table that we have the sales target, and I'll also be able to see for the manager, because each branch has a manager. I want to see the manager's names, right? So in that case, I'll be like, okay, I want to merge tables. So I'm going to say merge queries. If you want to destroy the original table, well, maybe not use the word destroy, but if you want to do it on the very table you are in, then you say merge queries. If you want it as a separate table, so let's say I do as a separate table, because I'm going to delete it afterwards. I don't want to keep that step. Or yeah, so I'm going to say as a new table, I want to merge the sales target, and I need information from the branch data. I want it to do a join based on the branch names. So it's going to match based on the branch names. And if you feel that there might be some spelling consistency, right, then you can turn on fuzzy matching, so that way it helps you to match things that are very similar. So I do OK, and then when I do OK, this comes up. So what it is I'm going to want to specify what I want to take out, because this is now the branch data that I've made to the sales data. And then what I want is, I just want the manager name. So I don't need the branch again. I already have a branch here. If I need the longitude and latitude, I leave that. But well, in this case, I just want the manager name. I don't want it to prefix with the original column name. So I don't want it to become like a branch data dot manager. So in case you see that, you will know this is what you have not unchecked. So I'm going to uncheck this and say voila. You see now it's brought in the manager name. So that is this merge queries. Okay. So like I mentioned, I'm not going to keep this. It's just for demonstration's sake. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to delete this that I've done. By the way, before deleting, in case maybe you want to rename this, so you want to like give it a meaningful name, you could say sales targets with managers. Okay, and that's it. If I do close and apply, this close and apply over here, it's going to bring in all of that into the Power BI desktop. I'm not going to close and apply. In fact, I'm going to delete this. Okay, so that's that. What other things do I need to draw your attention to? Append queries. Append queries is very easy to illustrate, even though I don't have a data in here to quickly demonstrate with. If I have, as you see this sales data, just imagine that I have, instead of all these branches as all imputed into one file, if I have these branches as separate tables, right, in that case I might want to merge, not in this case, not merge, append. So I want to append and say, okay, it should add all the tables. Maybe in this case, you know, add the Bagada branch plus the Lekki branch. So I do shift plus the Ikoyi branch, and then, you know, append everything into one giant table for me. And the advantage of that is, as new